Yeah, you know what's about to happen. It's about to to get absolutely ridiculous in here. I'm talking the kind of energy that makes grandmothers do backflips off the couch. We're going places, and by places I mean straight into legendary. All right, everybody, welcome back to another
Let's
episode of the
go.
44 Pod with your host, Hollywood Rigo, and fucking the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Herney himself, Big
Let's go,
Hernia.
big dog.
How we feeling today, big dog? Come on now,
Feeling
it's the
real
first week.
good. Feeling real good. That 1-0 feeling, baby. There's nothing like it when you come off of week
Yep,
one. There's nothing like it. I think we both had a pretty good week predicting.
yep,
We can get
yep.
into that once we start recapping and stuff. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good week one of football for the most part. And then on the personal side, my little guys, the 12U, throwing it down, baby.
Hey,
Two
yeah, we gotta
games,
talk
two
about that.
games in, only giving up a touchdown. So we're feeling
Oh
real good
shit.
on the defensive side of the ball. 2-0. We got a tough game this week in San Francisco, but we'll worry about that when that comes. So, but yeah,
Hey,
talk about
good
the
shit,
NFL
man.
shit. So looking forward to talking about it, and you know we got some your Niners, man. It's 2025, but it feels like it's 2016 because it's the same old shit every fucking year with these guys. And I'm sure
Yeah,
you're gonna have a strong opinion on everything going on with y'all. So let's get
yeah.
into it,
I
man.
mean, a lot of things to say about my Niners, but before I get into that, uh, let's get into recapping the week one games.
Yeah,
Because
for
I feel
sure.
like I'm gonna go on a long tangent about these fucking Niners and don't
Yeah,
want to do
so
that.
we'll save our teams for the end. Let's talk about Friday's game first, right? The one in Brazil. We kind of talked about it briefly when we were recording. It was right before the game. We
Hmm.
were both right with that one. We picked the Chargers to
Yeah,
quote unquote upset the Chiefs. And Justin Herbert, I mean, obviously we'll talk about the Sunday night game, but I would argue he would look like the best quarterback of the weekend. He fucking was really accurate. He knew where to go with the ball. He hit the easy completions, and he
yeah,
had the numbers to back it up. The Chargers looked really good, I thought. To me, that was kind of the team. I know we didn't go through divisions and decide who was going to win and stuff like that, but if you would have asked me, that was the team I thought was going to win the division this year. As everyone knows by now, I am a huge Jim Harbaugh guy, and I'm really a big
loves it.
believer of what he does as a program builder and as a team builder. And so far, so good for the Chargers. So we'll see. Um, but what do you think about Friday's game? The score was 27 Chargers, 21 Chiefs. I think the Chiefs had the ball, but near the end of the game, but they didn't do anything to make it happen.
Yeah, it was actually a really interesting game. I actually really enjoyed that game as far as like quarterback play on both ends.
Yeah,
Again, I'm a big Patrick Mahomes hater. Don't like the Chiefs, but I thought it was going to be one of those games again where Justin Herbert is like doing well with the ball. You know, they're moving, the offense is moving, and it's grooving, and the defense kind of like shits the bed towards the end. And they let Patrick Mahomes come back and they win that game. And then it's another Patrick Mahomes story of like, this is why he's the greatest quarterback of our time and all these
yeah.
sort of things. Like, so I thought towards the end, I thought that's what it was going to be. Luckily for the Chargers, it wasn't. They actually came up with the dub, which was kind of surprising, in just in the way that the game was heading towards the
Yeah,
end. I like it got me a little nervous. It's like, yo, I just don't want to see Patrick Mahomes come up with the dub, and because that's
I
what we
think.
saw last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. Like, I think it's the combination of the Chiefs always seem to be in these spots where they're beat all game, and then they somehow get to the point where they have the ball to end the game and they win. And then it's also
Yeah.
the Chargers too. Like the Chargers have really notorious, especially before Jim Harbaugh, of like shit in the bed. Like there's plenty of
Mhm.
games we can look at in the past where they've had the opportunity to win a really big game and they find a way to choke it off. So, um,
Yeah, they're just they're not good in those one score games, and it's
Yeah,
nice to see
absolutely.
that Jim Harbaugh's actually changing the culture over there. And
Yeah,
obviously it's week one, so I'm not going to try to overreact, but it is nice to see that they actually won one of those games and against what many consider a Super Bowl team, and
yep.
you know they just went to Super Bowl, so it was exciting to see that the Chiefs actually lost those one score games. But yeah, I don't know. Some would argue that are the Chiefs really declining, or are the Chargers actually getting that good and are capable of you know beating these teams?
Yeah, I
What would
feel
you
like
say?
it's. I think it's a little bit of both. I really do believe, like I said, I really do believe in the Chargers. Even as I'm a Raiders fan, but just look. You always have to look within your division, and I think the Chargers are just an ascending team. Offensively, they're really young, and like they're already without one of their best players in Rashawn Slater, who tore his I think his patella tendon like right before the season started. So
Yeah,
they're already kind of short. That's one big piece that they don't have, and they're really young on that side of the ball, which I think is always a good thing. Usually, young offenses I feel like are way better than a young defense. And I think on the defensive side, they got some vets over there, but they also have a couple key young pieces that are
I
helping
did
them
see
out.
that. Uh,
And with the
fucking the
Chiefs, go ahead.
no, no, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I was
I
just
just
gonna
got
say
excited. I'm
but it's
excited.
the same thing that you're saying with the Chiefs. Like they're on the downswing. They lost Xavier Worthy the third play of the game, which
Yeah, that's
as we
really
all know,
injury.
Rasheed Rice is out for 6 weeks. So that means they were out without their top two receivers, and you're relying on Juju Smith-Schuster and fuck, what's the other guy? Juju
I mean, you
Smith-Schuster
got
and
Travis Kelsey still.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Travis Kelsey, like I think it's pretty clear, like he's on the downswing. He's not the guy that he was athletically. Is he still a good tight end? Yes. I think most teams in the league would love to have him on their team, but he's definitely not the guy that he's going to be good for 135 yards, 12 catches, and two touchdowns a game anymore. That's just not his role anymore. And so they're going to have to figure out the run game. I think is going to be the big key. Like they have Isaiah Pacheco, he's fully healthy, and I thought they added.
they have Kareem
Uh,
Hunt still on that team.
they have Kareem
Not
Hunt,
that
and they just
he's.
added from the Niners, Elijah Mitchell. I don't know if he's hurt or
Yeah,
anything. I'd have to look, but
I
so
didn't.
they
I
have
didn't.
the
I
running
didn't hear
backs
his
to do it.
info.
They have the running
Yeah,
backs to do it. But that's not really Andy Reid's style. Since he's had Patrick Mahomes, he's never really been the type that, hey, we're going to hand off the ball 30 plus times a game, and Patrick, you're only going to have to throw it 25, and you have to be accurate with the ball. He's never done that. He's always tried to push the ball downfield. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. Um,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. Before we just move on, I just like I said, I wanted to say why I was so excited. Uh, the Chargers, former first round pick, their wide receiver, fucking, I think his name is Josh Johnson or some shit like that.
Yeah, Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, he was fucking making plays out there. I was really excited to see that. I thought a lot of people were writing him off early. Like I said, it
Yeah.
was one of those wide receivers. I even said, like, hey, if this guy can get it together, the
Yep.
Chargers could be a really good football team. And it was also really nice to see that Keenan Allen was still out there making some fucking plays, moving the
Yeah.
ball, being reliable as he once was. And yeah, the Chargers, again, I think we both agree overall. It's one of those teams to look out for. And the
Yep.
Chiefs seem to be one of those teams that, like you said, are on the downward spiral. Hopefully they continue that way because fuck the Chiefs. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think overall good game Friday night.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so we are purposely not going to talk about our teams until the very end, just in case we
Yeah,
decide to get a little ranty. So the next game, let's talk about the one that I would say we didn't. Number one, we didn't talk about it last week. It's one of the games we forgot to talk about.
yeah, that's my
So
fault.
we're gonna do better on that. We'll on our next pod when we talk about the next week. We'll definitely try to get all the games. Was the Steelers and the Jets. Steelers won 34-32. This was by far, obviously, besides the Sunday night game and last night's game, Monday night. This was the barn burner, I think, of the day. That it was
Yeah, it was
just
a real
kind of a
doozy.
shootout,
Yeah,
and it was really, that's one of the things I probably would have talked about is the Steelers are coming back with this defense that, every year they have a really solid defense. They obviously extended TJ Watt, but they're old on that side of the ball as well. Like, that's
Yeah.
definitely something we have to mention. But I thought that was kind of the strength of the team, and it wasn't. Um, yeah, what did you see any highlights or watch
Um,
it or
yeah, I actually watched this game. I think just that game, these two teams are like were very interesting going into the season, and that's why I say
yeah,
this game is like a real doozy. Just because, again, you got a new head coach from the Jets, a new quarterback, pretty much a new system going into that culture there, that team, and then you got obviously Aaron Rodgers, a former Super Bowl champion, and all that stuff, going to the Steelers, who consistently been in the playoffs every single year.
yeah,
Um, and that defense, they really invested, and I would also say they invested into the offense. However, when I look at these teams and I really start to think about it, it's like, okay, are the Jets actually that good of a team to keep up with the Steelers, a team that's actually invested into the defense and offense, or are the Steelers bad because you got the Jets with Justin Fields and a whole new coordinator and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I really don't know what I made of the game. I just know that, Aaron Rodgers can still sling the ball. Justin Fields can obviously make some plays when he needs to. It was like you said, it was a shootout, but
yeah,
I really just try to take away like what am I getting from the game? And I think what I saw, I think was more impressive from the quarterback play of Justin Fields. I think that
yeah,
Jets team really showed that, like, hey, you know what? We don't care who you have on that team, offense or defense. We're out there to fucking play some ball. And that's very exciting to see because that looks very promising. Because I think I had it in the other podcast. I was like very question marks on Justin Fields and that coordinator and stuff. They're gonna really like suck or not. But
yeah,
you hang in there with the former Super Bowl champ and that defense, or yeah, that defense, and you're able to make plays. I think the Jets are in a good spot. For the Steelers, though, Steelers look like what the Steelers been looking like for the past 10 years. Kind of sad, really reaching on players and trying to do things where they really don't need to. All they really need to do is like rebuild, and it's like kind of an ex-girlfriend. You kind of want to keep her around, but it's time to get over it. I
yeah.
think that's what the Steelers are for me. So shout out to the Jets. They really did something different out there.
Yeah, I'll just touch real quick on Justin Fields. I thought by far, I mean, he's improved since he's left Chicago. There's no question about that. But just mechanically wise, like the way he's dropping back, his footwork and stuff like that. I know it's really nuanced, so I'm not gonna like dive into that, but that stuff I think by far his decision making obviously is improved. But he's just completely improved, I think, just mechanically wise, and it's showing. It's obviously week
Yeah,
one, so a lot of these things we're going to talk about, it's going to be like, well, it's week one. We'll see if they can continue this, as we move forward. But I think if you're a Jets fan, this is probably the most encouraging feeling you should have in a while because it feels like the last couple years, like, when A Rod first got there, literally a couple plays in, he was done. And it like tanked your whole season. And then
yeah.
last year, like, there was already kind of the drama. And then Salah, like, there's just all kinds of stuff going on, and so I feel
The
like as a
Jets.
Jets fan, you should be really excited with what you saw, and hopefully they can keep that going. And then with the Steelers, I mean, yeah, A Rod fucking balled out. He looked like a really good older version of his old self. He definitely didn't look like how he did with the Jets, which is great. I think if you're a Steelers fan, that's really encouraging. But
Yeah,
um, the expectations that you have of the defense definitely, I think you got to be a little bit concerned about that. But Jalen Ramsey, man, what an
he came
acquisition!
up.
That he made the
Yeah,
play of the game. You know, I mean, Garrett Wilson was open, and Jalen Ramsey hit him, knocked that ball out, and it's over. Game was over, and
hey, that's why
yeah.
you
So
pay
I
for
mean,
those
he came up
players.
big for them. So, but really encouraging to see. I think that was my big takeaways. Even though the Jets lost, it felt like a win for them, just
Yeah,
based on their play. Next game I wanted to kind of talk about real quick was Denver and Tennessee. Denver won 20-12. Um,
yeah,
when I looked, so this is all the afternoon games. I was at my game, so I didn't get to watch any of the afternoon games, but I looked at when I looked at my phone, there was a point, I think it was almost halftime, and the Titans were up. It was really brief because I don't think they really led any other time other than that, or it was really close, one of the two. But I was really surprised. And the big thing I saw a lot of people talking about was the performance of Bo Nix,
Yeah,
which I think, shout out Ovio. He's a Broncos fan. I think one
yeah,
thing most Broncos fans know is, you know, defensively, we know that Denver's got probably the best defense in the league. I would probably argue. But this team's going to go as far as Bo Nix goes. So when he has bad games, um, it is his second year, and there's that sophomore slump, and we'll talk about somebody else that, um, you know, I think
yeah.
is in a sophomore slump. Um, but so if he has a bad game, if you're able to pull off a win, I think you should be, pretty happy about that. But did you catch that game at all?
Yeah, I think I watched all the games to be honest with
Okay,
you.
cool.
I really had some time to go
Dive
through
into
and,
it.
and yeah, really dive into each game and quarterback play. So I definitely have a lot of opinions
Yeah,
about each quarterbacks and teams because a lot of I feel like just even going forward talking about these games, for me, I feel like every quarterback and every team, for the most part, kind of played the same. To be honest with you, a lot of these quarterbacks, besides maybe like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, um, and Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields, those are like the only two games and only quarterbacks they actually were. I feel like really slinging the ball. Um,
yeah,
and it was like a neck to neck game as far as quarterback play. And I think the rest of it, each of the quarterbacks and the rest of the games kind of were the same. A lot of them played kind of bad in the beginning,
yeah,
and if you were the better quarterback that game, you were going to win that game. So a lot of it to me was the same. But as far as like Bo Nix and the Broncos, like you said, I think you hit the nail on the coffin. Was like the Broncos are willing to go as far as Bo Nix actually plays well. Um,
yeah,
the defense is great. I think it's probably top five, if not number one, in my opinion. Like you said, just that if Bo Nix can't win those ball games against another good team, because there's a lot of good teams in the NFL this year,
yeah,
and if you're relying on him to win you that ball game and he can't pull it through, I don't see the Broncos winning any AFC Championship games or going to the Super Bowl.
yeah.
As far as Tennessee, I mean, you got a young quarterback, his first year. Um, there's a lot to be happy about, I would say, because
Mhm.
again, you are going against probably number one defense in the NFL right now, and to play the way you were playing against them, especially in week one. Granted, they didn't win, but it
Yeah,
was impressive to see. Cam Ward made rookie mistakes, just like every quarterback does. So I'm not being super, critical on him, but I would say it was pretty impressive. I mean, he made some bad plays, made some good plays. And Tennessee, to me, just one of those teams that either gonna you can tell that they're gonna be really bad early or they're gonna be really good early, and I still still not sure. Honestly, I think they have
yeah,
the potential of being really good if they can get Cam Ward to sit in the pocket and make some good plays to his wide receivers. So I don't know. Broncos gotta figure it the fuck out, man. Tennessee, yo, Cam Ward's looking promising.
yeah. Absolutely. Um, let's talk about a team that you were high on, and I kind of shit on prediction wise with this one was Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cincinnati won 17-16, but you had mentioned it. You were really high on the Browns. You actually picked them to win the game, and I kind of just clowned on you for it. Hand
Yep.
up. My bad. Cleveland's D. I did know Cleveland had a good defense. I just wasn't like I just felt like Flacco, like, I figured he'd be okay. But the defense
Yeah.
really kept them in the game pretty much the whole way through, and I think they had a chance at the end to kind of make something happen, and just didn't fall that way for them. Um, but yeah, thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't really surprising for me, just
Yeah,
because uh, Joe Burrow, right? I think even not just him, but the Bengals in general, they always struggle in the first 5 weeks of the NFL season. They either lose the first four or some shit. They have just a history of starting real slow. And to me, I really believed in the Browns defense. I really like who they have on that side. It's just the real question mark was at quarterback, and I think I did say that Joe Flacco is not now in his career is one of those quarterbacks that can really carry a franchise, but he's one of those like starters. When you go to Applebee's and you get like, hey, mozzarella sticks, it's
Yeah.
good. It's obviously not going to fill you up. So Joe Flacco is one of those
You know
filler
what you're
players.
getting. You know what you're getting with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So if you got to really bet on him making those easy plays and those occasional like, hey, long deep balls to his wide receivers. Unfortunately, he wasn't really on as much as I needed him to be. But that
Yeah.
defense really stepped up, and like I said, I think they're really a sleeper team. If they make that change at quarterback, which I do see them doing, I don't see them doing
Yeah.
until like maybe 7 or 8, or just until Flacco his body can't keep up, and obviously there's more teams to play, better teams to play at the end of the season. But the
Yeah.
Bengals was definitely a good starter. But for me, the real takeaway, because I wasn't really surprised about Browns, was the
Mm.
Bengals. Um, Clearly, they have some fucking issues on offense. Um,
Yeah.
they
Still,
that
it's crazy.
it's been almost 5 6 years, and they still can't figure a way how to protect Joe Burrow, and it's tragic. I think Joe Burrow to me um, is definitely a top three. If there wasn't a fucking Josh Allen in the NFL right now, I would say Joe Burrow is probably the best quarterback in the NFL just because what he plays with and what he works around. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Bengals really need to find a way how to protect Joe Burrow, or else he's not going to make it the end of the season. And obviously, he does have a history of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Bengals. Hey man, like gotta figure it the fuck out. But kudos to you winning a game that you should have blown out. But
Yeah.
clearly, you're fucking struggling. So there's definitely bigger issues there.
Yeah,
But
and
your
I'd be
thoughts? Go ahead.
curious, like I was just gonna say real quick, like this is definitely a game I didn't watch, but I'd be curious to know about like Trey Hendrickson, like how much did he really like help? Because obviously he's been I don't know if he was away from the team or what, like when he was holding out. So that's kind of interesting to me. And same with Shamar Stewart, like um is it just because they missed so much, so they just didn't really have an impact on defense? Obviously, you need more than two guys on the team, but they're playing two really key positions at DN, so that kind of like that play there kind of dictates how a game goes for a defense. Um, so I guess that's something I'll have to look into. Next game we'll talk about your Rams against the Texans. That was a game. I'm actually kind of not surprised at the score. I
Yeah.
think from a fantasy perspective, I think the Texans defense were like pretty much number one across the board. So we knew they had a really strong defense. And I had mentioned when we were talking about this game that I'm a huge believer in the Rams defense. They don't get enough credit, I don't think, just because they're kind of young on the front line. And I mean, the score kind of tells you how the game went. 14-9 is pretty low scoring considering you look at most of these games across the board. Most of them went over 30 points, and this was one of the only ones that was, right at that mark. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um. Uh. Again, looking at all these games, right? Obviously, it's super easy to be like nitpicking. But
yeah,
for me, I'm looking at it in the perspective of like, okay, where where did they struggle the most, and like what was most impressive, and what did I really get back from each game? So that's
yeah,
like kind of my POV. Just describing each game that we're going through. So
yeah,
for me, just right off the bat, again, also I'm not trying to be an overreaction or reach because it's week 1, so I don't think we can really say that until week 5 or 6. But for right now, I'm just saying that Rams offense is to me overrated. With the Devontae Adams pickup, it was good. It
yeah,
was good. I liked it. Everyone was saying like, hey, these Rams are going to be the best offense, and just hearing a lot of things, right? But when you looking, I'm not saying the Texans are a bad team. Their defense is solid. However, I don't really have like there's not that many players on that defense that really scream out to me that are like,
yeah,
yo, these guys. Besides that corner, I fucking forgot his name. Um, Whatever, forgot his name. Is pretty solid. Their linebackers are a good group. That D line
Wait,
is
who
pretty good too. It's the corner. I forgot his fucking name.
on the Texans?
Yes.
Derek Stingley.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's
But
pretty
I was
pretty.
gonna say they have some dudes over there. Like they have that was the draft. They drafted shit. Who they draft? They drafted Will Anderson, and they drafted was that the C.J. Stroud draft? I'm trying to remember.
Dude,
I think that was the C.J.
I'm
Stroud
sure.
draft. They drafted C.J. Stroud, and then they traded up and got Will Anderson, and everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Like they just took this, this big move. So Texans definitely have some pieces over there, but
It's
I
not
think yeah,
enough to
like
where like you are
it's not.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
you
what
I
you're
mean
getting at. Like
you yeah, you flinch.
it's not like the 2000
Yeah.
Ravens where you're like, oh, they got Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Haloti
Yeah, just
Nada, and
ball
all like
players.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. I get
again,
what you're getting
I'm
at.
not trying yeah, I'm not trying to shit on the Texans defense. Like I said, like they're a good
Yeah,
team. They are a good defense,
yeah,
but I'm slinging the ball. Like I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
run
yeah.
that ball if I need to, whatever. So for me again, looking at the team's performances, it was more of not surprising, but it's like okay, Rams offense overrated. You got Puka Nakua, you got Devontae Adams, you got your tight ends. You got some ball players that can make some plays. Um,
Yep.
and to be held down to like that low of a scoring game, it's kind of like okay, what are you doing on offense? And is the Texans defense really that good that they're
Yeah.
shutting down this? Because the Texans had plenty of time in the game to come back and win. At any point, they could have came back and won that game. Also, I look at C.J. Stroud. Okay, like are you just having a bad game? Are you on the decline, or this is just what we got, and that's what you're gonna be? That was your ceiling last year,
I think
and
it's just I think it's tough. Like I think for him, he's just in a tough spot. Number one, I thought the OC that they brought on, I'm pretty sure he's from the McVay tree, so
mm,
that also kind of plays into it, right? Like anyone from that tree, when you play the Rams, they obviously have McVay, so you already kind of know how to, as from a defensive standpoint, you know how to attack that offense because you practice against it every day. Um,
yeah.
but I think just personnel wise, like CJ Stroud's in a tough spot. No Joe Mixon, so you're relying on Nick Chubb, who's just not who Nick Chubb used to be.
Hey,
And
chub
wait a
chub.
minute, I'm not saying wait a minute, I'm not saying he's not a good running back still. I'm just saying he's not the top
Yeah, no, I
five. I'm
get
gonna
it.
lead the league in rushing running back, right?
Yeah,
Especially he just came off his ACL injury was it 2 years ago now. So I
yeah,
mean he's just not gonna be, and I think he's over 30 or he's like right at that mark. So he's just not gonna be the same guy, and they're still waiting for Joe Mixon to come back. And then from the receiver
yeah,
perspective, the only proven commodity at receiver is Nico Collins. And I think
yeah,
at tight end, I think we still have Dalton Schultz, but he's kind of whatever. Um, and then the other receivers that they have is like they have Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, who are two rookies that, they're rookies. So usually receiver from the receiver position, unless it's some elite speed or some great, they have just these great God given abilities. Most of the time, these receivers kind of struggle to start the year. Um, so yeah, I do think that kind of factors in. But at the
yeah.
same time, it's also one of those things. Hey, you struggled last year too, and you're kind of picking up where you left off, which isn't really a good thing, especially when you consider the rookie season he had.
That's what I'm saying. I
So
feel like
that'll be something to
um,
kind of like keep an eye on for sure.
I'm glad. So again, this is the last thing because we definitely got to keep moving forward. Um,
Yeah,
for me, I think his rookie season for right now, based off the quarterback play we've been seeing, I think that is his ceiling, just based
yeah,
off of what he's done so far. Just because if you like think about it, look at the players he had his rookie season. He was making these guys that weren't really anybody to really scream about, and he
yeah.
was making plays and he was playing fucking some great football that everybody was like, "Yo, CJ Stroud." From coming from Ohio State, because Ohio State does have that what you call it that not niche, but uh, just Ohio State cannot produce quarterbacks in the NFL. They just have
That's
that
as a
stigma.
Michigan
There you
guy,
go.
that's
They have
very
that.
true.
So they have that stigma. So seeing CJ Stroud and coming in, especially Justin Fields was taken so high, and
Yeah,
seeing the path that he was taking, it was like, yo, yeah, Ohio State, no quarterback. So, yeah, I don't know. I think right now, CJ Stroud's rookie season is his ceiling. Hopefully, he
Yeah.
proves me wrong because I do like him a lot. And
Yep.
Rams got to figure it out how to use Devontae Adams more.
Yeah. One game we were definitely both wrong on was Jacksonville, Carolina. Um,
Oh God, was I
Carol,
wrong?
yeah, it just kind of looked. I mean, Bryce Young didn't look like the guy he did at the end of last year. There was a big
It was
weather delay, so that was a 10 a.m. game, and they didn't finish. I don't think till the afternoon games. Um,
mhm.
I could be wrong, but that was a game
No, it
that
was
I
a weather
saw
delay.
briefly, and then, like I said, it went to a delay, and I didn't see the result until after I got out of my game. But yeah, the Jags won 26-10, kind of a blowout. The big thing I just put on there was Bryce Young. I mean, and Trevor Lawrence didn't play that great either. That's kind of the one thing that I saw across a bunch of games was just the QB play. I tweeted about it. I just think QB
Yeah,
play has just deteriorated year after year. It's just to me, it's gone worse and worse. And it's not really the NFL's fault in a sense. Obviously, there's you get paid the dollars you get paid, so it's kind of like figure it out. These guys should be coached up, but um,
yeah,
a lot of these things are from the college space. But so yeah, I mean, we were wrong about the Jags. They looked. I mean, maybe it's just because they played the Panthers. That's those two teams are kind of just question marks. I don't really have anything else really to say besides the
yeah.
Bryce Young
I don't
stuff.
have much to say.
Right? So
Yeah,
we'll
honestly,
those two teams we'll check back week 2, and we'll see if they are what they are. Um,
yeah.
Giants Commanders. This was the one I had said I thought it was a mistake starting Russell Wilson, and it looks like I might be right, but because they're already talking about possibly starting Jackson Dart this week. Um, we'll see.
Yeah,
I think it's just one of those things. It's New York, so they're kind of just talking about it. So no one talks about the fact that Brian Daboll has no fucking idea what he's doing anymore. As from an offensive perspective, it's kind of crazy um, because he had that really great year with Daniel Jones, who we can talk about real quick in the next game. But did you have any thoughts about Commanders Giants at all?
Um, no. I do have one comment though.
Yeah,
Is
for sure.
that I think the only person I think it's obvious, right? And I was speaking about the Commanders is the quarterback is the only person carrying that franchise right now, as he should.
Oh,
Obviously, you picked him and stuff,
100%.
right? So, uh,
Yeah,
the only question mark I do have because I think it's not to go in a super long tangent of things, um,
yeah,
is that, and I'm referring to the Niners as well. Is like okay, everyone shits on the Niners as far as like, yo, this team is getting older. They need to start investing into young players, which the
yeah,
Niners finally started to do. The Rams did it like 2 years ago, and it's obviously paying off, right?
yeah,
As far as the Commanders, it's like they are the oldest team in the NFL right now, and they're one of those teams that need to start investing into really young players because Jaden Daniels' play, to my opinion, is not going to be sustainable. Where he's going to keep doing what he's doing. Um,
yeah,
so they're just one of those teams that like, hey, look, great quarterback play. He's going to continue to be great, do great things. It's just like, hey man, you better start figuring things out on that defense. It looks a little slower in my opinion from what I saw.
yep.
Um, and that offense looks pretty good, but they're one player getting hurt from just being an ordinary team. That's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. I think their strategy, and obviously we don't know, we're not in the front office, but I think the strategy is, hey, we have this guy in a rookie contract. Let's get a bunch of older veterans in the league. We can afford to pay them, and let's fucking try to make it. Let's obviously, I think, especially because they made it to where they made it to at the end of last year.
Yeah,
I think they're kind
100%.
of thinking,
100%.
right, like, hey, let's maximize this opportunity. Let's just get a bunch of vets and I think this is kind of the year if they're going to do it, it's probably going to be this year. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't happen for whatever reason, like if they get bounced in the first round or they don't make the playoffs, then I do think they're going to be like, hey, you know what? Didn't work. Let's sell all these old veterans out and let's get some young assets and let's build this team from the ground up and get ready to have to pay Jaden Daniels. But yeah, that'll be really interesting to
Yeah.
see how he plays going forward. He's one of the only quarterbacks I think in year 2 who didn't really show he had a sophomore slump. I don't think, but then again, he played the Giants, so we'll have to kind of keep tabs on that as well.
Yeah.
I briefly mentioned him,
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. This was another game we didn't talk about. Colts, Dolphins. Um,
Whoa.
we kind of
Boy,
talked
did
about
was
it.
I fucking wrong.
Um, yeah, I mean, your big thing on that game was Tua. You even asked why he wasn't benched, even though you thought he's a top 10 quarterback in the offseason. But
All right.
obviously, I
There's a
think
little troll. I'll take
no,
it.
yeah. I'll hand up. I was just trolling him right now, but I think the big surprising thing, obviously, like Tua's play, obviously it's surprising, right? Like you're not expecting the Dolphins to score just 8 points with the weapons they got. But I think the huge story from that game is Daniel Jones. A lot of people kind of wrote him off.
Dude, yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't somebody who was going to completely write him off. I thought he's still, I think
He had
he's,
some juice in the tank.
yeah, I think he got a raw deal in New York, especially when they let Saquon go. I think he kind of got fucked. And then obviously, I think that year, that's when he blew out his knee. I think um, the year no was it no that was Saquon's last year. My fault. But that was the year they kind of blamed him. His first year without Saquon, they blamed him for everything, cut him, and the Vikings just held on to him, and maybe that helped him kind of just get healthy and be a quarterback again. And he looked pretty good. Um, yeah, that Colts team. But then again, it could be the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins, I think they're just completely done with Mike McDaniel. Player wise, I think they're just over him. I think they think he's a big fucking joke. And I think we
I
kind of
mean,
briefly mentioned it in the past that he didn't do anything um, he didn't do anything on a resumes perspective. Like obviously, I think he did have the title of offensive coordinator for the Niners, but I don't think he. I mean, he literally didn't call the plays for them. So he didn't do anything from a resume perspective to get him that head coach spot. It's one of those things the NFL does where they say, hey, this guy's a young offensive guy. Let's go get him. I think he could be a good head coach. And um, yeah, it's kind of showing that he's maybe not a good head coach. But yeah, any thoughts on that game?
yeah. I mean, you pretty much just hit it perfectly.
Yeah.
If I had to say anything, couldn't agree anymore about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones played a hell of a game. That Colts team looks like they're hungry to prove themselves. Like, hey, we're
I
a
thought
competitor.
defensively they looked really good too.
Yeah, D
They
Buck.
picked up a bunch of guys. Yeah.
It hurts my heart to see DeForest Buckner in that fucking Colts uniform. But shout out to them. Any former Niner player. It's great to see them fucking ball out.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Javarius
Daniel
Ward
Jones
too.
played
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, he played some that whole Colts defense, or the whole Colts team in general, just played really good.
Showed out. Yeah.
Dolphins, yeah, Dolphins. If only thing I had to say is they're in shambles. If they don't figure it out by week 4, a lot of people are gonna get fired. Tyreek will be traded.
Yeah.
That's one hot take. Tyreek Hill will be traded this year. I
Yeah,
I'm
I think he's gone
100%
pretty much no matter
confident.
what. Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
I'm
I'm
100%
with you.
confident. Tua, I think they play him. I think he still stays on the team to the end of the year, and they're gonna figure out how to get rid of him. Mike McDaniel's is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that team is pretty much like a yard sale right now. Those guys are
Yeah.
fighting for new contracts for new teams. So, it sucks to see. You had so much talent on that team 2 years ago. Even a little, even right now, there's so much talent. But hey, when you put the wrong guy at the helm, it shows you what it
That's
can
a
do to an
huge deal.
organization.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that sucks. Sucks for the Dolphins because I rep them pretty hard too. And as far as a
Yeah.
fucking troll, right? As far as a troll, yeah, I did have Tua as my top 10 quarterback. Yes, 100%.
You did.
Uh,
Yeah.
but like I said, I'm not a person to shy away when you're playing bad football. I will call you out. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
please played terrible football on Sunday, and
Yeah.
he did not play like a top 10. But I still believe that he is a top 10 quarterback when he's able to live up to his expectations. But clearly that's not what he did. And he played like a fucking God, I don't even know. I don't even have the words to even come up with, but he played fucking trash. Benched the
Yeah.
motherfucker. I don't know why he wasn't benched. Should have put Q and Ewers in that motherfucker and had him ball the fuck out. Hey, but you know what? It's probably why I'm not a head coach or a coach in general. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. We can move
Yeah.
on to the next team.
Yeah, Cardinals Saints. Cardinals won 20-13 against the Saints. Kind of a to me kind of
Don't
a
got much
nothing
to say.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, don't got anything to
there's
say
not
about that
really
game.
much to say. The Saints are who we thought they were. I think. Like, I mean, Spencer Rattler, he had a couple moments, but um, yeah,
The
not really
reason why
much
he
to say on
bounced
that
around
one.
in college.
And then yeah, your guy Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison looked good, which is good. He's starting to live up to his hype, which is great. But um, yeah,
Yeah, I've been there to
next
play against
game.
your team.
Next game, kind of a coin toss game. We were both split on this one, which was the Falcons and Bucks, which was a really good game. It came down to the last drive. Tampa Bay won that one 23-20. My biggest thing on that one was um, it was a battle, division battle. I think I talked about it. I thought these two teams are going to be the ones competing for the division.
Yeah,
Bijan Robinson, my God, I mean the first
that's a
time he
fucking
touches the
monster,
ball,
bro.
he's an animal. I mean, he was
I
a
fucked
fucking
up.
beast.
Didn't take him in
Uh,
fantasy. Fucked up.
yeah, I mean, people ask me that had like high picks, who should I get? Who should I pick? I have the number one pick. Who should I get? And I've pretty much told every single person, almost always, Bijan. I'm a really big believer in him, especially with Penix. That was kind of the reason why I feel like they have a quarterback that can get the ball out to all these receivers. So um, teams can't load up the box on him. And he's a good receiver. He's in that McCaffrey mold. He can catch the ball. He can line up at wideout. He can play running back. Um, but yeah, kind of a shame that they lost because I was really looking forward to talking my shit. But hey, it happens.
Yeah, like I said, I think
Seasons early, so
it's early. It's early. I think those
yeah,
like I've been saying, it's one of those teams that like you either learn something from your loss or you get better in a weird way. Even though you lose, you really get to see what kind of team that you are. Um,
yeah,
even though you lose, and teams that are supposed to win and it's supposed to be good based off paper, obviously, right? Because you don't know until you get hit in
yeah,
the mouth. You take that back with you and you're like, yo, like what the fuck just happened? So I think for Tampa, that's a learning lesson. They're like, hey, the Falcons are here, and they're not the little cousin, little brother. We could be the
yeah,
big dog. And so
yeah.
shout out
Hell
to
yeah!
Falcons.
Shout out. Another division battle. Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay won that one
Jesus
27-13.
Christ,
Um,
yo,
It's kind of like
holy shit!
what you and I talked about last week, right? Like the Packers aren't gonna fuck around anymore, and they're gonna kind of let their shit hang and let them know, hey, we run the division. The big thing I took away from that game, offensively for Detroit, no run game. I mean, they fucking couldn't run the ball to help them. They couldn't pay me to help them run the ball any better. Uh, I think for people in fantasy, Jameer Gibbs, what he did, holy shit, that's got to be tough. I think he had like 30 some yards total, like receiving and rushing. So um, that's something I think if you're a Lions fan, it's a little concerning because that
I
was
think
kind
it's
of
a
your
lot of
bread and
concerning.
butter. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of stuff we could talk about, but um, I thought the run game was the foundation of their offense. Obviously, it's not Ben Johnson calling plays anymore. Um,
Yep, and
so
that
yeah, they
was a
got a
big
lot to
take.
figure out.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to speak too much on the Packers just because I'm like, dude, there's so many things that I could say in a positive way. Like, yo, like you said,
Yeah,
the Packers are one of those teams that are like, hey, dude, it's about time that we fucking win one.
assert
They def
dominance. Yeah,
obviously they made that acquisition and acquired Micah Parsons, which was really big for them, and it showed that it's helping. In my opinion, still, I don't think Micah Parsons is one of those guys that are like a big impact player, but it does help their team a lot.
yeah,
Um, I might sound a little crazy for saying that, but I don't think Micah Parsons is like a Miles Garrett if you were to
no,
acquire somebody like that.
no,
But
no,
like
no.
again, I'm not shitting on Micah Parsons. I think that was a good pickup. But if they don't win all the way this year, I think it could have been a reach to give up what you gave up to get them in that
Yeah,
big ass contract. Because I think that's going to bite them in the ass if they don't win. But again, very impressive play from Jordan Love. Just great football from the Packers. Just great football. I can't say any more than that. As far as Detroit, it's kind of what I said in the beginning. you lose an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and you're really relying on Dan Campbell to, really give one of those speeches he usually does, and be like, "Yo, we're gonna win this fucking game." That Detroit style football. Clearly,
Yeah,
that didn't fucking work. You got punched in the mouth, and if you
yeah, they
can't
got out
figure it out
physical.
early,
Yeah,
yeah, if you cannot figure this shit out, um, it's downward spiral for me. It's you guys are just gonna
you're cooked. You're
completely
straight
lose
cooked.
every game. It's just yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, Detroit better figure the fuck out. Packers, NFC better fucking watch out because them boys are not fucking around.
they them boys. I'll tell you that. They them boys over there.
Yeah, man, a little scary, a little
Um,
scary. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, a little
yeah,
fucking scary.
yes, for sure. And then the other matchup in that same division was last night's game. Caleb Williams and the Bears and the Vikings. It
Jesus
came down to the
Christ.
very end. Vikings won 27-24. Um, I thought, I'll just be kind of brief on this one too. Is like it was just a tale of two halves. I was at practice. I had a late practice yesterday, so I didn't really get to watch most of it till the fourth quarter. Um, but just listening to the broadcast, it just sounded like it was a tale of two halves. JJ McCarthy was a no
It
show in the
was.
first three quarters, basically, right? And then looking at the box score, I saw what Caleb Williams did. Uh, yeah, he's
Um,
kind of looks like
yeah, I
he's the
didn't.
same quarterback, but yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on the
Uh,
game?
Honestly, I was more impressed with the Bears than I was impressed with the Vikings. Yes, Caleb
Okay.
Williams did not play great football. And the only reason why I say I'm more impressed with the Bears is because they went out there and they asserted dominance right away.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were leading.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately, towards the end, they kind of let up off the gas. And I think I was texting you during the game. It's like, okay, you know, um, I think quarterback play they played the same. Defense, obviously, defense was really carrying this team. Um, that Bears offense, I was impressed. Even though they didn't win the game. Um, but as far as the Vikings, right? I think Vikings is one of those teams, and I think it's a good perspective on the sense that like, hey, the Vikings just needed a quarterback to sit in that. They just need a quarterback to carry them, right? As what happened with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold stepped in that
Yeah.
role, and they took him, and they were winning ball games, right? And it just shows you that like not every quarterback can go in there and do what they need them to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's another good hit on Brock Purdy. I'm gonna throw that in there. Is like everyone was talking shit that like, hey, you know what? Brock Purdy's a game manager and stuff like that, and any guy that can go in there can replicate winning games, right? JJ McCarthy, if it wasn't for him towards the end winning that ball game, it just shows you like, hey, look, not any quarterback can do that, and
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy might not be that guy. And before anybody says anything crazy about this is his first year or whatever, Brock Purdy, it happened to him. He was a fucking third string quarterback. He just stepped in there right after Trey Lance got hurt, and he was winning ball games. So for me, there's
Yeah.
no excuse of that. It's just more of like, hey, the Vikings. You played the Bears, so when you play real good teams, that probably won't ever happen, just because there's a lot better teams, and JJ McCarthy shows that like, hey, he can't lead from the beginning. Even though again, I'm not trying to overreact because it's week one, but if you play like that against like a Packers team or a fucking uh maybe even a Lions team, you're most
Yeah.
likely not winning that game. But yeah,
Yeah. Well said. Well fucking said. Um, I mean, the big one before we get to our teams, the Sunday night battle. People are already calling it game of the year, which is crazy. Most of these week one games, you never see that.
yeah,
Buffalo and Baltimore. Buffalo won 41-40. This game was probably the most I watched besides our two teams playing. Um, I
yeah.
mean, where do we start? Do we start with the quarterbacks, or do we talk about how the Baltimore choked it off? I mean, um, yeah. What are your
I will
thoughts on the
say
game?
I'll keep it short and I'll let you get more into it. But
Sure.
Lamar is gonna Lamar. Um, I don't
Yeah.
know. People call me a hater. Call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
Sounds like you knew
This is
what you were
why I say,
talking about, huh?
yeah, people are, people don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
But when it counts and when it matters, this is just a little taste of what the season may unfold.
Yep.
Is that when you need Lamar to win those games, he just can't. But I'm not trying to really shit on him. He did play good football. I seen him make some
Yeah.
really fucking good throws. He
Yeah.
was sitting in the pocket. Obviously, he does his ballerina dance and he fucking runs around all day. But he did
Yeah.
play good football, and I'll give him that. He played against a really good Bills team too. And it was
Mhm.
really encouraging for them to be like, hey, you know what? Um, we're this close. We just need to fix some things up, and we can be ready to beat anybody in the AFC. So shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. They got some dogs on that team, but when you're playing my motherfucking Buffalo Bills, better watch the fuck out because Josh Allen's coming for that fucking chip, and if it ain't the Niners, it's gonna be the fucking Bills. So shout out to Josh Allen. He's a fucking dog. Um, but also they need to clean some shit up. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
but it just shows you like, yo, the Bills. Hopefully they don't fucking choke like the goddamn Baltimore Ravens, and they can win it. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
It was a really great game. Really, it's really hard to shit on anybody, but just love shitting on Lamar Jackson. Chokey McGee, dude. And shout out to Joe, man. Joe, look, I hope you fucking
Shout out
cried that
Joel.
night. You had a beer,
Come
you had a
on.
fucking blanket, and you cried all night. And you thought about me. Lamar ain't the fucking dude.
Pause.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Um,
Nah, Lamar's
no, you're not.
Lamar's pretty good.
No, you're not.
Nah,
You're not kidding.
go ahead.
But no, I mean, the big thing, I think the big turning point in the game was the Derrick Henry fumble. He never fumbles. That's the crazy part. It's not like he's like notorious for fumbling. He just, I don't know, he had a brain fart or something and he just fumbled. And I think that just swung the momentum of the game to the Bills' favor. And it seemed like they couldn't be stopped after that. But yeah, I think both teams, there's some concerns on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, I think the Bills,
Wait, hold on.
um,
Sorry, I don't really mean to cut you off, but just to hit on what you just said, right? You said when he
sure.
fumbled, it was a turning point, right?
Yep.
That's the Niners and Lions NFC Championship game right there.
Yep.
What happened when Jamar Gibbs fumbled? The Niners came back and they won that game. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut
I
you off,
mean,
but I just had to
no,
say
it's all
that.
good. Momentum is I'd probably say a top three ingredient in football. If you have momentum, you're probably going to win the football game. It's usually how it goes. And so when you do
Yeah.
make a mistake and it swings the momentum of the game, the flow of the game, it can be catastrophic. And that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like the Ravens, like um, the mistake happened, and obviously the Bills
Mm-hmm.
capitalized, and then it just felt like the Ravens were playing catch up, trying to get back the momentum they had all game long, um, and it just didn't happen. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's an obvious contender for game of the year. If you're an offensive guy, if you're a defensive guy, this game probably pulled your hair out. Um, but
Yo, I
I
only got
think
2 points of fantasy. Fucking Bills really shit the bed.
it's a testament to the two MVPs of the league, though. I mean, they made it a show, and hopefully we see this game in the AFC Championship, which would be great. Um, because that means the Chiefs didn't make it. So
Yeah,
if that happens,
yeah.
I'd be pretty happy about that. Um, so we got two more games here, and then we'll talk about this Thursday's game. We can talk about my Raiders. They won 20-13 against the Patriots. I can tell you right now, after the first half, I was like, this team's probably not winning a game this year. I thought the defense, I'm being like dead serious. I thought the defense looked like shit. I think I texted our group. I said Max Crosby's the worst player in the NFL. Because I thought he was a no show. I mean, offensively, I thought we were doing okay. I mean, we can't run the ball still, which is kind of crazy. Um, but in the second half, the defense was fucking lights out. I tip my hat to Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham, the DC. They showed out, and it really showed. The guy we traded from the Eagles, Thomas Booker. I mean, that guy looked like what we had in Christian Wilkins, which is kind of crazy. I mean, he fucking was penetrating gaps. He was just disrupting plays. He's letting our linebackers flow and make tackles, which is huge. And I thought the pass rush started turning up. Max Crosby looked like Max Crosby again. He helped get some of these other guys a sack, and he caused a bad throw from Drake May, which turned into an interception. I just thought they played really
Yeah,
well, and then the offense, like I said, the run game wise, they got to figure out the running game, and that's kind of a big thing I was going to talk about too, just across the board in the NFL is the teams that lost, they couldn't run the football. You look, and it's either they didn't run enough, or they just didn't get any yards, and that was kind of what I felt with the Raiders. Like if they
yeah,
really want to be a wild card team this year, they got to figure out how to run the ball because. Uh, when you pick a guy six to play running back and he's averaging less than 3 yards a carry, it's not good. But they made enough plays at the end of the
yeah,
game to seal it, and that's all you can ask for as a Raider fan is to be in the game. Especially in these past couple years, it felt like these are the kind of games you get blown out in, and you're like, "What the fuck?" So really encouraging to see we won a game. I felt like we should have won. So, but any thoughts on this game at
yeah.
all?
No, I think I told you though. I was like, I actually liked the Raiders' performance. I mean, you start off a little
Yeah,
slow, make mistakes. I like again. I think it's kind of like a trend during Week 1. You know, a lot of teams did make some mistakes, and I think it's just those Week 1 things. Like teams are still trying to figure out what's working and what's not going to work.
yep,
But again, I think a lot of those teams are, some stuff they got to stick with. They got to see it through, just to make sure that hey, we really got to invest in this area or we got to work around it. The
yeah,
Raiders to me are one of those teams too. Every year they look. I mean, I'm not a Raider fan, so I don't really know what it feels like to have that Raider feeling. We always joke around all the time, like, hey, Raiders are gonna Raider. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I always have high hopes for the Raiders every year. It's like, hey, you know what? This may be the year that they figure it out. They win more than 6 games. And for me, I think I told you, I think they're gonna win at least 8 or 9 games or something like that. I think I texted you that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I only say that just because Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll has a history of turning those defensive teams, turning their defense into really good defenses. I would say top 10, and I think that's what he's building with the Raiders. And he looked really good in a fucking Raider gear. I think I texted the group that too. I'm like, yo, this guy looks fucking
yeah,
sick.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm excited to see what the Raiders defense is going to look like in week 6, 7, and 8, and just moving forward.
yeah,
Their
definitely
offense is obviously going to continue to get better. The only one thing I would say is that they are just a quarterback away, for really being
crazy.
a contender. I know obviously you're a Raider fan, so you know a lot more than I do, and you've been through a lot more shit than I have. Uh, but
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, you get some invest into some key players on that offense like Brock Bowers, Austin Gentry, and a couple other guys. Um, you're just a quarterback away. As far as the Patriots, though, Drake May, uh,
He looked great in the
fuck, where do I
first
even
half.
start?
Just, I mean, you know what? You know who their offensive coordinator is, right?
Yeah, fucking not Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniels, or Josh McDaniels. Yeah, it's Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, it's Josh McDaniels, and that was one of the things I was
Mike
kind of
Vrabel.
laughing to myself because it literally looked like the Raiders. Like when he was coaching them, it literally looked like the Raiders. The first half, they're moving, the offense looks really good, and then the second half, they just completely shit the bed. Because I was like, I
Oh,
had Drake May on fantasy, and after that first
yeah, it
half, I was like,
sucks.
fuck, I'm gonna have about 30+ points after this game. Shit. And then yeah, it just
Yeah,
fucking they just didn't show it back up on offense. And Mike, and then like on the defensive side for the Patriots, like they just blitzed. That's all they did the entire game. They blitzed, and the Raiders burned them a lot. Ashton Genty's pass blocking was really on display. He was really catching. He's picking up a lot of blitzes, and the Raiders made the Patriots pay. I think the Raiders led the league in
yeah,
plays of 20+ yards or more. I think they had 9, and I think the next closest team
yeah,
was like 5. So that's one of the things I think
yeah,
in the past the Raiders wouldn't have done. I think they just got killed with blitzes. So, um, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed in the
yeah.
Patriots as well. I think Mike Vrabel was talked about. This is the best hire of the offseason, and he's the number one coaching candidate. he was somebody I wanted the Raiders low key to get. Um, but
You did say that.
yeah, I did. I'll come out and say that. But um, yeah, kind of. I don't know if disappointing is probably not the right word because this team is somewhat young. But I guess kind of surprising. But I
Yeah, I would
mean,
say
it is
more
week one.
surprising.
Yeah, it is week one, like you mentioned earlier. Like it is week one, so some of these teams are going to look way different. Like you said, when we get to week 8, and then they're going to look way different from week 8 to week 14. So, um, but yeah, I mean that's I
Yeah.
didn't have anything
Um,
crazy thoughts on that game. So shout out to the Raiders. Like I said, that 1-0 feeling, there's nothing like it. And the other team that started 1-0 was these Santa Clara 49ers, man. They came out, they got the job done. They beat the Seahawks 17-13. And I'll briefly say that Brock Purdy, man, um, you got paid this offseason. You got 7 Toyota Tundras from all the commercials you do. And you threw up a prayer. You threw up a prayer to your third string tight end from Los Gatos High alum. Shout out. Um, I just I don't want to like dive into it. Like I know you probably think I'm like trolling you, but I'm just of the belief that when you get paid these quarterbacks that get paid the extensions, um, you're getting paid the money because the team thinks you can carry the load. You can carry the team. And when I say carry the team, I don't mean like, hey, you got McCaffrey and Kittle and Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk out there, so carry the team, right? I mean, you got third, fourth string guys out there, and you're gonna fucking make it happen. Just like Tom Brady used to. Back in the glory days of the New England Patriots, he'd have a bunch of no name guys out there and fucking tear it up. Um,
yeah.
and like I didn't fully, I wasn't fucking in on every play watching, but just kind of like watching what I did watch, and then hearing from other people that are Niner fans that aren't Rigo. By the way, I don't want you guys to think like I only get Niner information from Rigo. I talked to a bunch of other people just to like make sure that there's no bias from anybody. Um, I just feel like he did just enough to avoid criticism and get the win, if that makes sense. Like to me, like that last throw, like one of his interceptions, we'll talk about the touchdown throw at the end, but one of his interceptions was fucking terrible. Like there's no fucking excuse. It was a fucking just shit read, and he just threw the ball like fuck it,
I think both of them were,
I'm gonna
to be
throw it.
honest.
And
Yeah.
then like the touchdown grab. That touchdown grab was if the tight end jumps late or the DB jumps earlier, that's another pick. And we're talking about how the Niners lost the game 13-10. Um, but to me, and I texted you this last night, the guy that won the game was fucking 97, Nick Bosa. That guy's a fucking like a
Yep.
badass
Yep.
motherfucker. And, the Seahawks are driving. You can go look on Bleacher
They
Report,
were.
look at the last drive. The Seahawks were driving. They were in Niner territory to score. And fucking Nick Bosa closed that game out for him. He made fucking Sam Darnold look like ghosts again. And,
Nice to
so I
see.
think it was a huge game for the defense.
Love it.
I talked about that as well. Um, I was a big believer in Salah. I told on this podcast specifically, I said that Salah gets a lot out of guys that aren't big names, and I didn't think the Niners were going to really struggle on defense too much, and I look like I was right so far. But what are your thoughts on the game? We do have some Niner stuff to talk about after, so once you're done with
Yeah.
your thoughts on the game, if you want to get right into it, we can get right into that.
Yeah, I'll start off with Seattle first, because
Yeah,
obviously I have a
let's do
lot
it.
of things to say about the Niners offense and just their play. Seattle, a lot of people are ranking their defense, pretty high, as they should. I mean, they were coached up pretty well on defense. They got a lot of key players there too. So, I
Yeah,
think their defense has lived up to their name as far as like what people thought they were going to be. Um, so, I wouldn't say I was super impressed with their defense, and I wasn't really let down. I think they have a potential of being really good, and by week 5, 6, and really shutting teams down, because they really started to shut down the run. Christian McCaffrey looked slower, um, and the holes weren't really there. We had a few here
yeah.
and there, but other than that, the run was kind of pretty much shut down. And as far as their offense, a lot of people had question marks about Sam Darnold. Some people had him really high as far as like, yo, you know what, this guy's gonna ball out in Seattle, which I personally thought he was one of those guys that were gonna be able to ball out. Clearly, that wasn't the case in Week 1. And obviously, again, it's new system, new coach, and all that stuff, so it takes some time to learn. But yeah, it was kind of surprising with their offense because I think Cooper Kupp is still really fucking good. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a really good wide receiver as well. And they got some key players in the running back field. You know, Kenneth Walker was picked in the first round, I believe. Wasn't really that great. But I think overall with Seattle, they played a good football. They definitely have some time to improve. They played at home, which was crazy that they lost. But again, you know, when you play my Niners, that's what the fuck happens. But as far as Niner football, right?
Yeah.
Their defense, I was pretty impressed because they were able to stop the run quite a few times. They didn't really allow crazy bursts to go upfield. So that's one of those things where I was really looking forward to because that's something they struggled with last year. And their corners, Diamondor Lenore, fuck, big shout out to that motherfucker. He did not allow a single catch.
Lockdown.
Nothing.
No
Zeros
fly
across
zone.
the fucking board.
Yeah.
Yo, talk about a lockdown wide receiver. I think he's one of those guys that don't get enough love. But you
Yeah.
know
I
what? You
agree.
know, bad dudes work in silence, and you know, continue to do what he does and be a fucking dog.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite plays, or not favorite plays, but one of my favorite players on the Niners team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that defense, I think, played pretty well against a good offense that should have been a higher scoring game in my opinion. But whatever.
Yeah.
That offense. Fuck. Question marks for me still. Still a lot of question
Yep.
marks. I don't know what they are. Because again, I think the Niners have been hit with the injury bug again, like you said in the beginning of the podcast. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm getting flashbacks from 2017, 2021. Like I'm getting fucking PTSD over here. Because I feel like
Yeah. It's
every
crazy.
play, every drive, I'm just worried about Niners going down. And that's ultimately what
Yeah.
happened. We lost George Kittle. We lost Juwan Jennings. For a second, I thought we lost CMC on one of the tackles that he got hit with.
Yeah.
But Brock Purdy's play, right? I agree. When you pay a quarterback that type of money, he should be able to deliver on, I would say, on majority of his downs, right? Shouldn't be making those
Yeah.
mental mistakes that you would do as a rookie.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was quite frustrating to see him do those things because I'm so used to him making those easy plays, easy throws, and not making those like rookie fucking mistakes. So like
Yeah.
that was a real head scratcher for me, just coming from what he just got paid and stuff. Um, but he was making a pretty good plays, but it wasn't consistent. He wasn't playing consistent
Yeah.
football, and I think that's what
That's
it comes down to.
that's the
Um,
that's real quick. Like for me, that's the other part of it. Like when you're getting paid that, like that's what we're looking for. You need to be consistent. Like that's the reason why you're getting paid is because they believe that you can do your job consistently. And it felt like there was moments where fuck,
yeah,
this guy looks top 10 quarterback. Like he looks fucking good. And then there was like you're saying, like he had moments where it's like, dude, like what are we doing?
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not here to glaze the 49ers or the quarterbacks by any means because, like, again,
Not
I'm
yet.
very unbiased. I call it what it is. Um, but yeah, Brock Purdy needs to play more consistent football to live up to that contract. And but I would say what I am impressed by, and what he didn't do last year,
Yeah.
was that he did win that ball game. Granted, that throw in the end zone to the tight end, um, any other player, I think that play is getting picked off 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But fortunately for the Niners, it wasn't, and he made that grab. So shout out to that player, that tight end. Um,
I
he won
forgot
us
his
that
name.
game.
Otherwise
But again, I think,
I'd give him a shout out.
yeah, I don't even know who the fuck he was, dude. Nobody
I
knew
just
who the
know he
fuck he
went
was.
to
I
I
was like,
just
who
know
the
he
fuck is
was
that?
I just know he went to Los Gatos High and fucking, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
But again, right? A lot of people were criticizing Brock Purdy being able to not win games without their star wide receivers. Like I said, he lost Jawan Jennings, lost George Kittle, lost a few key guys, right? Um, so if it wasn't for Ricky Pearsall coming up with that catch, that deep ball to set up for that scoring drive, I don't
yeah,
think we'd be talking about. Um, I wouldn't be as optimistic about the Niners. I'd be really pissed at
I
Brock
mean,
Purdy, and the thing would be
it'd
like, did he
be
deserve that contract?
if they hadn't scored that touchdown, it would have been 13-10 Seattle. And that would be, if I was a Niner fan,
Yeah,
that'd be like alarming. Like you can only score 10 points against Seattle. I mean, they have a good defense, and like obviously their head coach is a defensive guy, but 10 points, like I don't think their defense is that good to hold you to 10.
no, and that's what I'm saying. Their offense has some question marks. They
Yeah,
Kyle Shanahan needs to. I would even say it's him, to be honest. I don't honestly don't know. Week one, it's week one. That's what I'll call it. Um,
yeah,
but a shout out to Nick Bosa coming up with that fucking
yeah.
all
He's
that
he's the
glorious play.
he's the Mac Daddy, man. That's why
But
you guys pay
yeah,
him and Fred Warner the big bucks, right? So um,
yeah,
so
but
yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
was the
pretty much
week
all I have to say
one.
about that
Yeah,
game.
that was week one recap. For the week,
Jake
for
Moody,
obviously
fucking
we
dog
missed a
shit.
couple. We'll talk about them right now. Week one recap. Uh, for the picks I had, I went 11-2. Rigo went 9-4, and Huey went 2-2. If it wasn't for the Bears game, you guys would have really like made out pretty good. But um, so yeah, Thursday night we got Commanders Packers. We're gonna talk about this game because this should be out prior to that game. Um, it's gonna be. I mean,
Yeah,
I think those
should be
two
out
the
tomorrow.
these are two games or two teams that played really well week one. So it's going to be really interesting to see on a short week what to expect from the Green Bay team, who really dominated, I thought, the Lions, and the Commanders team, which, yes, they played the Giants. We talked about, briefly, it kind of was what it was. Um, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the QB
Mhm.
battle. I should be able to watch this game, which is nice. Um, but yeah, any thoughts on this
Not
game?
about
And
time.
I guess we can give our prediction real quick for
Uh,
the game too.
yeah, I think honestly, this game, obviously, we kind of, I wouldn't say we really know what teams are, right? It's week one, so again, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to overreach or overreact. But just based off what we've seen from week one, um, to me, it's going to be like a Baltimore and Bills game, to really like settle
yeah,
the score. I think if it's not the Packers, it's going to be the Commanders going to the NFC Championship game this year, and so
yeah,
I think it'd be a good battle to see, like, yo, who's gonna want it more? Who's that team? Who's gonna be the coach to outcoach the other, and who's that
yeah.
quarterback to outplay the other team? So me personally, in my opinion, I want to say I got the Packers, but I don't know. I think Jaden Daniels is gonna come up with some really slicky plays, and I think if the Commanders have the ball at the end of the game, I think the Commanders come up with it. So I'm probably gonna go with the Commanders. I'm gonna stick with the
All
Commanders. I,
right.
I got Jaden Daniels
Oh
winning
yeah,
that ball game.
yeah.
What do you got?
I'm gonna go Packers on this one. I'm kind of with you. I agree in the
Oof.
sense of like the playoff picture we're talking about. I think it's gonna come down to these two teams and probably the Eagles. Um, I just based on the play of Week One, obviously, like I just don't think any of the NFC West teams are in that circle. But it is early, like you're saying. I just think that the Packers, if Jordan Love isn't up to par for whatever reason, they got Josh Jacobs and they have a running game, and I think that they can get bailed out with that. To me, I think the Commanders, obviously, they have a running back by committee with Eckler and the rookie. I think he's a rookie that they have. And then, but to me, I think the running game's Jaden Daniels. So um, it'll be kind of interesting to see. I just think defensively, I think the Packers are a little bit better than the Commanders at this moment. because I don't think the Commanders were tested by the Giants,
Yeah,
so we don't really know what that defense is going to look like. But I do know like the Packers have a couple nagging injuries with the receivers. So that game's gonna be really interesting. This is one of those games where week 2 you could
I'm
be
excited.
Packers or Commanders, and then week 14 you could be like, oh shit, and you go the other way. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of lucked. I feel like some of these Thursday games are picked some really good one for us this year. So, that'll be a great game to
Yeah, shout out
watch.
to the NFL, man. Shout out to the
Yeah,
NFL this year.
what a
Actually
great
got some
product.
good games, and shout out to every team showing out this year.
Yeah,
You know,
hell yeah,
I love football. We love fucking football here
love it.
on the
Can't
44
get enough
pod.
of it.
Fucking
Yes,
love
sir.
it. But yeah,
So
I
we'll
mean,
talk real quick. Couple more things about the Niners. Today, Tuesday, they decided to part ways with your favorite kicker, Jake Moody. Um, I told you this,
Jake
and I
fucking
was
Moody.
mentioned to you that I was a little surprised because literally on Sunday after the game, I'm pretty sure someone asked Kyle Shanahan about it, and he basically was like, "Oh, that's our guy. Like we're gonna keep riding with him." Um, Looking back, it was probably just because, hey, he's the third round pick, and gotta act like I'm supporting my guy. But I think it was pretty clear that if he didn't figure it out, they were going to get rid of him eventually. So I'm kind of glad that they did it early and they didn't wait till week 8 after he cost them a game. Um, do it right away, rip the band-aid off,
Yeah,
and figure out if you're going to have tryouts or whatever you're going to do. And then the other big thing for the Niners today, George Kittle officially on the injured reserve list. He can come back after 4 weeks, so it's not like how it
yeah,
used to be where once you're on injured reserve, you have to wait till a certain threat, like week 12 or whatever. Like it's only 4 weeks, so and obviously he wasn't going to be playing anytime soon, so I think that
yeah.
just kind of helps them out with the roster situation. Um, but yeah, obviously your thoughts on your beloved Jake Moody.
Good riddance. Good fucking riddance. I don't know why the Niners kept him on for so long. I just think I think him being a third round pick was a
I think that was the
big thing
huge
for him.
thing is yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, so if it wasn't for that, I think he would have been off the team a long time ago. But I like you said, yeah, I think you really hit it on the nail. I'm glad they got rid of him before it cost them a game, and which it
It
almost did.
almost did.
If it
I was
wasn't
say it almost
for
did.
that drive,
Yeah,
so I think in Kyle Shanahan's head, he was like, "Yo, really, it was just a real big test." And Jake Moody shit the bed like always. So at least as a Niner fan now, I don't got to sit here on my couch with my wife and my dogs and be like, "Oh my god, I got to close my fucking eyes for a 3-point kick on the 35-yard line." So, um, good riddance. I mean, good fucking riddance. George Kittle. It I'm not surprised, and it's sad to say that. I mean, homeboy gets hurt every fucking year, and he's at least misses maybe 6 games a year, which in a way is kind of a blessing in disguise because it happens early. I hate that it happens in
yeah,
general. Like I hate to see Niner players go down, but might as
yeah,
well it be earlier than later in the season when you really need somebody like that. So, um, hey, buddy, take that time, take those 4 to 6
yeah,
weeks or whatever, get healed up, be ready for a long
yeah.
football season. Because if it ain't the Bills, it's my fucking Niners going to the fucking Super Bowl, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, and obviously there's some question marks around Brock Purdy and Jawan Jennings. I'm not going to touch those yet. I feel like that's something on the next pod we can talk about a little bit more because we'll have some more definitive answers of what's going
Yeah,
on over there. Um, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
what do we got next, Trigo?
Uh, I think for today, because we're about to hit an hour and 20, we're gonna call it right now. We are dropping another podcast. I think Thursday or tomorrow. Talking about
Well,
other things as
we
well.
will be
So
recording it
you guys,
Thursday. We'll probably
yeah,
record it
yeah,
Thursday, and
yeah.
then it'll
There
be
you go.
uploaded for most of you guys, hopefully by um, Friday or Saturday. It just kind of depends on. Well, it'll probably just be Saturday. So, because I have a game Friday in fucking Turlock, which is a couple hours away from where I'm at. So I'm not getting home till probably well past midnight. So it'll probably be up and ready
Yeah,
to roll for you guys Saturday.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, again, it's for our viewers and people that listen. Hey, man, you guys are gonna get two pods. So I
yeah,
hope you
this is
guys
a
listen to it and you guys like what we're saying. And
yeah.
again, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like this is a test run, so like if we feel like you guys aren't, it was either we do two this week or two. We're gonna probably just do two every week, and we might like there might be some weeks where we don't go over every single game, like in terms of the recap of the previous week, and we just put it all in one episode. We just felt like it's week one. Let's give the people what they want. They want football, and we're trying to provide. So, but obviously, if this isn't,
Yeah.
if you guys rather just
And
us
like it,
2
yeah,
hours long, then we can do that. But that's it.
yeah. We try to keep it under with an hour because we know people's time. Um, you guys, everyone's a working person here. And if you're not, then you got the time. We love you. But for people that are working out there, we know you guys don't got that much time to listen. But hey, you wake up in the morning, you're driving, carpooling. Hey, turn on the 44 pod, baby. Give us a
Yeah.
listen. And again, we really open to anybody wanting to come on here and speak their mind about their teams or whatever they have something to say. Uh, Leave a comment. Hey, we know we look at them and we'll have you on here. So if you're not too
Yeah.
scared and you got an opinion, you got something to say, call us out, man. We're not scared. So
And it
we
doesn't
appreciate everybody
like
listening to us today.
I'll just say real quick,
Go ahead,
like, and
Hearn.
it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be football related. Like, we just talk about football because that's what.
Yeah,
Well, I love football. Rigo loves it too. But if it's something like I can talk basketball. I can talk baseball. I can talk about it all. Short, fat, skinny, tall. I got it all. I got it all on lock. So, but if you want to talk, if you're maybe you're a female and you're talking about Dior and you're talking about this, what Louis Vuitton's doing with the design game. Rigo's got you covered too. So, we could cover it all. It doesn't have to be just about football or sports. You want to talk about movies, Rigo and I, we used to go to the movies all the time, low key. We'd be on some critics type shit, and we'll talk about some of
yeah,
that
man.
stuff on the
Movies
next
is our shit.
episode. But yeah, so leave a comment, like it, subscribe to it. Let us know any comments you guys got, how we can improve it. Um, we appreciate it all. But
Yeah.
that's all I got.
All right, and that's Hollywood Rigo and fucking Mr. Herney himself signing off and ready for the next pod coming this week, man. We appreciate y'all, and like I said, leave your comments out there. But that's all we got for today, baby. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah.